Greetings, friends. It's me, Wayman, and this is a video. All babies are atheists. There's probably bazillions of these videos going around, and I decided to weigh in on the topic. I don't want to be left on the outside, but I think that a lot of times, many people would like to claim babies for many reasons, and they want babies to be on their team. But I think that it's probably misunderstood. And I'll get to what I'm talking about here. The reason why it's misunderstood, I think that the evolution of consciousness is an interesting one, and Carl Jung and his students talked about it. And I have a book here, The Origin and History of Consciousness by Eric Newman, and he was a student of Jung, Carl Jung. And in this book on page 6, starting on page 6, the creation myth, the Ouroboros, or the serpent eating its tail. He has some interesting stuff on here about how the whole process could happen. And I think that once we start dealing with these metaphorical terms and symbols, they're at times mistaken and thought of as a spark of religion, because that's where it comes from. But it may just be the natural process that every human goes through, which is quite interesting, because even atheists go through these types of process. Here it is on page 6. So I'm going to bore you with about a page and a half of reading. So if you have a short retention span, you don't want to watch this video. See, the dawn state of beginning projects itself metaphorically in cosmic form, appearing as the beginning of the world as mythology of creation. Mythological accounts of the beginning must invariably begin with the outside world, for world and psyche are still one. There is yet no reflecting, self-conscious ego that could refer anything to itself, that is, reflect. Not only is the psyche open to the world, it is still identical with and undifferentiated from the world. It knows itself as world and in the world, and experiences its own becoming as a world becoming, its own images as the starry heavens, and its own contents as the world creating gods. Ernest Cassirer has shown, in all peoples, in all religions, creation appears as the creation of light. Thus, the coming of consciousness, manifesting itself as light, in contrast to the darkness of the unconscious, is the real object of creation mythology. Cassirer has likewise shown that in different states of mythological consciousness, the first thing to be discovered is subjective reality, the formation of the ego and individuality. The beginning of this development, mythologically regarded as the beginning of the world, is the coming of light, without which no world process could be seen at all. But the earliest dawn is still prior to this birth of light out of darkness, and a wealth of symbols surround it. The form of representation particular to the unconscious is not that of the conscious mind. It neither attempts nor is it able to seize hold of and define its objects in a series of discursive explanations and reduce them to clarity by logical analysis. The way of the unconscious is different. Symbols gather around the thing to be explained, understood, and interpreted. The act of becoming conscious consists in the concentric grouping of symbols around the object, all circumscribing and describing the unknown from many sides. Each symbol lays bare another essential side of the object to be grasped, points to another facet of meaning. Only the canon of these symbols congregating about the center in question and the coherent symbol group can lead to an understanding of what the symbols point to and of what they try to express. The symbolic story of the beginning, which speaks to us from mythology of all ages, is an attempt to make is an attempt made by man's childlike, pre-scientific consciousness to master problems and enigmas which are mostly beyond the grasp of even our developed modern consciousness. If our consciousness with epistemological, I probably said that wrong, resignation is constrained to regard the question of beginning as unanswerable, and therefore unscientific, it may be right, but the psyche, which can neither be taught nor led astray by self-criticism of the conscious mind, always poses this question afresh, as one that is essential to it. The question of beginning is also the question, whence? It is the original and faithful question to which cosmology and creation myths have tried to give new and different answers. The original question about the origin of the world is at the same time the question about origin of man, the origin of consciousness and of ego. It is a faithful question, where did I come from, that faces every human being as soon as he arrives upon the threshold of self-consciousness. So, that's my opinion. I think that that whole process is mistaken sometimes for being religious, when it may just be a natural process. So, I don't know. Let me know what you think. Take care, friends, and remember, everybody's thinking alike, and somebody isn't thinking.